Greetings, fellow YouTuber. My name is Tim. Greetings, fellow YouTuber. My name's Tim. Now that I have no audio. All right. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you letting me know that. Oh, man. What a way to start a show. What a way to run a railroad. Anyway, let me repeat, and for those of you who can't read lips, welcome to GainerWorld Live. My name is Tim, and for the next hour, we're going to be screwing up the airwaves. Yeah, we're screwing up bandwidth like there's no tomorrow. And I certainly appreciate my occasional guest co-host, Chris King, who is in the very chat room right now that we're looking at right there. You may see it over there, but actually it's right here as well. If you're watching this live, this is the YouTube chat that we have. If you're watching the replay of this, then yeah, you can follow along just as if, you know, the chat was there. And we do that because we're cool like that. So anyway, this is what we do for an hour. We kind of hang out, and yeah, you're not around to laugh at me in person. I know, so you can laugh at me via the chat. I get it. But yeah, this is what we do every week. We kind of hang out and have fun, and waste some bandwidth for an hour, and talk about things that have happened in the news. Things that may be of interest to folks. Might be a little guitar playing. I've got a guitar sitting over here. Oh, shut up. Gary from the Incredible Edibles has popped in to say hey to both Chris and myself. Why you'd want to talk to either one of us at this point of the show, I don't know. It took no time at all to derail this thing, so it's all good. But yeah. Lots going on this week. As always, we'll give you the usual things that are going on here. First off, don't forget that right after this show, if you head over to Hugs 24/7 Radio, Cyrus Gray, the Hugs Top 10 Countdown, that's happening at the website hugs@wrgg.com, hugsatwrgg.com. You'll be able to check out all of the greatest hits that are going on in the world of unsigned music. We're pretty darn proud to have that show go on. So that happens right after this, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, right here on this very piece of bandwidth. Talk to me because I'm cool. Yeah. Yeah, okay. And Cyrus, as a matter of fact, has popped in because right there, right there, you can see that he's popped in to join the chat. So all kinds of fun things going on, even though we're messing up all over the place, even as we talk. So yeah, and it's probably a good thing because, like I said, we usually talk about things that happen in the news, and it's been a pretty crappy week. I'm not gonna lie. Wolfman Gray, I don't know. Yeah, well, yeah, Wolfman Gray, Rick Gray, Man Cow Gray? I don't know. It's hard to say. The Deadpool countdown. No, you did not miss it. We have 2 more entries into the Deadpool this week. 2 more, and another one that I would hedge my money, that I would start betting on right now. We'll get into that in just a few minutes. Right now, let's get it to the latest. That's so mean. But let's face it, it's been happening. It's been happening like this all year. Well, pretty much since the summer. People are just dropping like flies. And the latest to add to the list, believe it or not, is Bob McGrath. If you hadn't heard about this one, yeah, buddy, Bob McGrath. This is mainly for the American purists, unless they're actually showing, if they're showing clips from Sesame Street over in Europe with the American cast, which I think they're still doing. And yeah, if you haven't heard the word, Bob McGrath, Bob on Sesame Street, one of the original members of the cast, passed away Sunday at the age of 90, according to CNN and MeTV. According to CNN, a family statement posted on Facebook, and it read, and this is a quote, "The McGrath family has some sad news to share. Our father, Bob McGrath, passed away. He died peacefully at home surrounded by his family." 50 years. Yeah, that's a long time. Sesame Street, and I remember, I hate to say this, but it's true. I remember when Sesame Street premiered in 1969. It was so controversial because, why aren't children learning in school? Now they're going to learn at home? This is an outrage. Believe it or not, there was actually some blowback on Sesame Street. He looks related to Oscar. He does, doesn't he? I mean, let's face it, the two of them spent more airtime together than probably Archie and Edith. Who knows? But, 50 years. Beginning with the pilot in 1969, according to MeTV. He was the people. I mean, you can't even get away with joking about things. He was one of the people in your neighborhood. You just can't do it. 47 seasons. He stayed with the show until 2017, and even then he was promoting it at public events. He contributed by playing the role of Bob Johnson. He created some of the world's most recognizable songs. People in Your Neighborhood, Sing a Song. He had a whole bunch to do with it. Well, people talk about this episode to this day, and I'm going to show you something. And if you were a fan of this show, you're going to know what I'm talking about. But check out this graphic right here. These are the 4 non-Muppet characters that were originally on Sesame Street. But how many people remember the episode of when Bob had to explain to Big Bird that Mr. Hooper, who you see in this picture, is not coming back? You might remember Mr. Hooper died during the show. Well, not during the actual show itself, but during the taping of one of the seasons. I think it was in 1971, 71, 72. And they actually wrote an episode about dying and relating it to the kids. And it was one of the most, you want to talk about breaking hearts. That episode did it for me. And even Chris right now in the chat singing, "Who are the people in your neighborhood? In your neighborhood? Are they even welcome in your neighborhood? He gentrified this street last May." Or you could go the Eddie Murphy route, It's a hell of a day in the neighborhood. But yeah. So yeah, it's a sad thing that happened. It's a passing. It's a rite of passage. It's not how it goes. No, Chris. It's not how it goes. It looks like the guy that you walked the other way from when you had the kids with you. No, not Bob. Not Bob. No. Mr. Hooper, maybe. But that's another story altogether. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of a shame that it happened. Yeah. Bob McGrath, gone at the age of 90. They said the same thing when Pee Wee Herman was around. No. You just didn't go to the movies with Pee Wee. That was another story altogether. Don't. If you were ever in a theater and from the back row you heard, ha, you had a problem. Okay? I'm just saying. So that was going on. So yeah, hail and farewell to Bob McGrath. That was kind of a sad thing. And then here's another one for your dead zone, for your Deadpool. How many people had Kirstie Alley on your bingo cards? Yeah. I'm going to miss this car dealership. When you do the math, you choose McGrath. Not that one. Not that one, you silly. Kirstie Alley. Two-time Emmy-winning actress who rose to fame with the role of Rebecca Howe in Cheers, died Monday of cancer at the age of 71. Her death was confirmed, according to Variety, through her official social media presence, which I saw, and that kind of freaked me out. That's how I found out what things were going on the way they were. They actually posted it right away on Twitter, of all things. I didn't think cancer would have been the thing that got her. Yeah, I know. There's jokes there too. It was a plumbing company. No, McGrath is not a plumbing company. Stop it. Oh my goodness. To all our friends far and wide around the world, according to Variety, this was on her Twitter feed. We're sad to inform you that our incredible, fierce, and loving mother has passed away after a battle with cancer. Only recently discovered. She was surrounded by her closest family and fought with great strength, leaving us with a certainty of her never-ending joy of living and whatever adventures lie ahead. As iconic as she was on screen, she was an even more amazing grandmother and mother. We're grateful to the incredible team of doctors and nurses at Moffitt Cancer Center for their care. Our mother's zest and passion for life, her children, grandchildren, and her many animals, not to mention her eternal joy in creating, were unparalleled and leave us inspired to live life to the fullest just as she did. We thank you for your love and prayers and ask you to respect our privacy during this very difficult time. Yeah, I would not count on a Cheers reunion, Cyrus, right off the top. And even if you did, there's a trivia question for you. If there was a Cheers reunion, Kirstie Alley or Shelley Long? Who do you, I mean, Coach is gone. But yeah, she had a heck of a career. You gotta give her props. I mean, everybody remembers when she was in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan in 1982. Khan! Everybody remembers that. I think she was Spock's main squeeze in that one. I'm not sure. She, of course, did Cheers. She replaced Shelley Long in 1991. She won an Emmy. She won an Emmy for that. She was nominated 6 times and won once. And everybody remembers when she thanked her husband, of course, the great Parker Stevenson, known for his role in the Hardy Boys. I'd like to thank my husband Parker, the man who's given me the big one for the last 8 years. Everybody remembers that. I know I do. And then she won a second Emmy for a TV movie in 1994 called David's Mother, where she played the parent of a teenager with autism. Yeah, I forgot about that, Chris. Yeah, Babe Newworth is gone. Baby Newworth is gone. So yeah, it's getting kind of sparse on the set, on the Cheers lot. But yeah, she did a great job with that. Of course, she also was in Veronica's Closet. She had the comedy show on Showtime in 2005, Fat Actress. Of course, I'm sure everybody remembers when she was in Look Who's Talking, which was a great movie. It was a funny movie. It wasn't it wasn't the greatest movie in the world, but it was cute for its time, And she got to hang with John Travolta, I guess. You remember her bout with obesity? In Veronica's closet, keeping Veronica's secret. Well, I don't know about that. I never watched the show myself, so I don't know what to tell you about that. Everybody remembers when she was catching all the guff about her weight because she had gained some weight over the years, and she became a spokesman for Jenny Craig as a result of it. Man, talk about cashing in. Talk about cashing in on a bad situation. She was. Cyrus is saying, I thought she was a great looking woman. She had some. Yeah, no, she was very pretty and she was very talented. Her timing on Cheers alone justifies her career, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, but I mean, she had a heck of a career. She's survived by her son, obviously, William True Stevenson, a daughter, Lily Price, and a grandson. Yeah, another loss to put in the dead zone. Kirstie Alley. And I know nobody saw that coming. Chris is saying she didn't have to catch the guff about it so much as just throwing guff at her in her general direction and allowing it to establish an orbit. Yeah, that is true. That is true. She was her own little solar system there for a little while, you know. But yeah, she was very cool and a great actress, and it's really a shame. So yeah, there's two that you've got. No such thing as two. I know, I understand. Believe me, I understand. There's one thing I've learned from you guys, is that timing is not an issue when it comes to things like this. So Cyrus comes up with a really great question. Who will be the next to head to the dead zone from Cheers? Chris says Woody Harrelson. I don't think so. I'm going to mention two names. One, God help me, is a friend of mine. The two names that come to mind from Cheers are Ted Danson and Tom Wendt. Or George Wendt, I beg your pardon. Tom was his brother. When was the last time you heard from Woody? Yeah, it's been a while. You know, I don't know. He might be down on the hemp farm. Hard to say. Danson's just doing commercials. George, he's, you know, every time the Bears get hot, he comes out with another Superfans bit. You know. I don't know. Yeah, he's like Keith Richards, says Cyrus. He died in 1972, but his body fails to recognize it. Woody's on that same path. I don't know. Hard to say. Like I said, nobody's heard from Woody in a while. And Ted's looking good, but, you know, again, between him and George. So, in other words, he's a lich. Stop it. Just stop it. Okay, so here is one that I would... He's hanging around with Wild Thing Vaughn. Okay. Here is one that I am going... This is a freebie from me to you. Don't say you never learned anything on this show. We like to be entertaining, but we like to be informative and educational at the same time. Place your bets now. The next one that you probably don't think, and not that we all think about her a lot these days, but here we go. Celine Dion. Now, you may be asking yourself right about here, Tim, what is up with Celine Dion? Well, according to Rolling Stone, Celine has revealed that she has been diagnosed with a rare neurological condition. The condition is called, and this is an actual thing, I had to look it up. It's called stiff person syndrome. I know everybody's giggling in the background, so let me repeat it one more time and we'll all have a good laugh over this. Celine Dion has stiff person syndrome. As a result of this, she has postponed her spring European tour for next year. She announced this yesterday, but she had been pushing her tour. She'd been pushing the tour from this year, citing health issues. So she got on Instagram yesterday and said the following. I was not able to cop the video, but we'll all read along together. I'll hold it up to the mic here so you can see it. And we'll read along. This is a quote from Celine, according to Rolling Stone. As you know, I've always been an open book, and I wasn't ready to say anything before, but I'm ready now. French-Canadian. I've been dealing with my health for a long time, and it's been really difficult for me to face these challenges and to talk about the things that I've been going through. Recently, I've been diagnosed with a very rare neurological disorder called stiff person syndrome, which affects something like 1 in a million people. While we're still learning about this rare condition, we now know this is what's been causing all the spasms that I've been having. Basically, what it is it is a neurological thing that it causes your muscles to just stiffen up, and you're just rigid. You're just doing the whole Tin Man in the Rain thing, and it is affecting her ability to walk. It's affecting her ability to talk, which means it's affecting her ability to sing. And that for Celine could be a little bit of a problem. She postponed in October 21. She postponed the opening of her Vegas residency, you might recall, because of severe and persistent muscle spasms. But now we know what those muscle spasms are. And it caused the cancellation of her entire North American tour in January. She then postponed the European tour until the spring of next year. And she said on the Instagram post, the good news is I'm doing a little bit better. It's going to be very slow. It's very frustrating for me. She didn't really say what it was, but yesterday she came out and, said what it was. And yeah, it ain't good. It ain't real good. Like I said, according to the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke, or NINS, stiff person syndrome, SPS, is a rare neurological disorder characterized by fluctuating muscle rigidity in the trunk and limbs and a heightened sensitivity to stimuli, such as noise, touch, and emotional distress, which can set off muscle spasms. Abnormal postures, often hunched over and stiffened, are characteristic of this, and people with SPS can be too disabled to walk or move, or they're afraid to leave the house because of street noises, such as the sound of a horn that can trigger spasms and falls. So yeah, imagine being in front of 30,000 people and singing through a 20,000 watt PA system. That could really be a drag. Celine went on to say, according to Rolling Stone, unfortunately, these spasms affect every aspect of my daily life, sometimes causing difficulties when I walk and not allowing me to use my vocal cords to sing the way I used to. It hurts me to tell today. This means I won't be ready to restart my tour of Europe in February. I have a great team of doctors working alongside me to help me get better, and my precious children who are supporting me and giving me hope. So she's postponed the spring 2023 dates and has rescheduled them to 2024. And she's canceled 8 of her upcoming summer shows for next year. So right now, the earliest she may return to the stage, all things considered, would be late August of next year. So yeah, here's hoping for. I mean, that's such a drag. Deanna added, all I know is singing. It's what I've done all my life. It's what I love to do the most. I always give 100% when I do my shows, but my condition is not allowing me to do that. For me to reach you again, I have no choice but to concentrate on my health at this moment. I have hope that I'm on the road to recovery. This is my focus, and I'm doing everything I can to recuperate. So yeah, best wishes to her. That's really kind of a drag. I had never heard of this until this came out. So yeah, that's really a drag, to say the look. Let's go to the tote board here, because a lot of people had a lot of things to say on this. Chris said she's going to hit one of those powerful notes and exhale so hard she'll crumple like a tin can and won't be able to inhale. That's nice. Wow. Cyrus has already given her 4-1 odds. Okay. That's for this year. I don't know. No, I think she'll be around this year. I think she'll be around next year. If she doesn't tour next year, then yeah, I would start lowering those odds. TT Croissant. Let's not even go there. They need to put that into a pill for, reasons. I hear you. I'd like some stiff muscle pills, please. Don't they already have those? I think they call it Viagra. I'm not sure. The dress makes her look like number 9 looking in the mirror. Yeah. This is what happens when you don't eat. He just gave it a name. It's like fibromyalgia. No, come on now. Fibromyalgia is another thing. And Lady Gaga's already got that. We already know about that. If you ever watch 5'2", it's kind of heartbreaking to watch her just lay there on a couch and just hurt, just because her brain tells you, I'm hurting. The cramps started in her foot. And look at those toes. Oh, your accent sounds Serbo-Croatian. I'm trying to sound like Celine Dion, the greatest singer in the world. Just saying. Who doesn't have it? Gout. Figure that one out. And Sean, ladies and gentlemen, Sean Adam Williams has joined us in the chat room. Sean, always good to see you, my man. What's up to you? Hope you're having a good weekend. You too, man. Always great to see you. We appreciate you stopping by. We're having some fun here. You're new to the show, so if you're easily offended, get out now. I'm just putting it out there. In fact, you know what? We'll do this. Let's go ahead. We're going to take a break right about here. Who's the guy that Sean should have? Everybody's saying hi to Sean. But yeah, when we come back, we're going to talk about, we're going to answer a burning question. And believe it or not, we're going to tell you about QAnon's next target, which, believe it or not, I'm not going to even give it away. We'll be right back.
This is Classic Christmas.
I wish it could be Christmas forever.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Here comes Susie Snowflake dressed in a snow white gown.
Playing your all-time holiday favorites restored from the original vinyl releases. This is Classic Christmas.
While you're inside with your war on yourself, the damage has been done. So call the truce, stand and deliver. This battle can still be won. But first lay down your arms. So take a look around across the field of dreams both lost and found. There's no use crying for casualties you lost within the fight. The wounded lie waiting for relief that's just inside. Within your struggle for redemption, there's a block along the way, and it belongs to those who still believe. You still have much to say. Please wave the flag, come to the table.
And again, it usually helps if you put the fader up on the microphone while you're talking. See, Chris, you've got me into this now, man. You've got me feeling self-conscious. Please, a programming note that next week, December 16th, will be our last live show of 2022. However, the week after that, 2 weeks from tonight, at this very same time, and on this very same piece of bandwidth, will be the YouTube premiere of the video for Lay Down Your Arms. So we're going to, we'll have something on the air, kind of, sort of, on December the 23rd. Think of it as my Christmas present to all of you. Hope you enjoy that. The YouTube premiere. If you are a regular viewer to the show, you've seen it before. You know what I'm talking about. But everybody else will get to see it on Friday, December 23rd at 8 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, rather, on this very piece of bandwidth. So hope you'll join us for that. Let's see here. Everybody talking to Sean, and that's always a good thing. Glad to see that. I do love the blues with all my heart and soul. Well, that's nothing wrong with that, brother. You're talking to a man who was born and raised on the south side of Chicago, so I can relate in every single way. You can cover anything with a Caribbean flair and make it sound good. That is true. Chris wants to know, are you okay? Do you need a doctor? Are you choking? Does that come with a gift receipt? Do you plan on sending it to somebody? What a great gift idea that would make. So, yeah. So, anyway, one of the big questions that we've got here, why am I turning red? It's hot in here, man. That and I'm that and messing up the show all over the place. You may hear a fan in the background. And it's just the way that the way this room is set up. It's like, I'm surrounded by the lights, obviously, and not to mention the fact that the heating duct, or the intake for my heater, is right by my feet. So there's a fan maybe about 10, 12 feet away from me. If you hear that, that's what that's for. Let me see. I meant your gift of Lay Down Your Arms. Does it come with a gift receipt? No, there's no exchanges and there's no returns. That's all there is to it. The warranty expires the minute you download it. He gave up self-medicating himself. Yeah, a long time ago. Had to. Something about being stuck with a pig valve. One of the things this week that actually happened, if you're a regular viewer to this show, I think I'll pass it around like a meatloaf. What? Meatloaf again? One of the things that you may have noticed, if you're a regular viewer, last week we talked about this story, and I just want to follow up on it because it is one of the burning questions of this week, and the burning question, of course, is where the heck are Amy and TJ? If you don't know what I'm talking about, If you don't know what I'm talking about, he said, realizing that he didn't upload the pictures for this week. You ever had one of those shows? You know, you just feel yourself. You just feel the flames growing as you're getting ready to plummet in the ground. Yeah, where are your screens? Yeah, I know. I had the screens, but somehow they disappeared on me. So anyway, yeah, T.J. Holmes and Amy Robach from Good Morning America 3. If you watched the show last week, you know we talked about the fact that they came out and made their relationship public. They are the two people that are on GMA 3. What you need to know. And what has happened is, as I said, they made the announcement. Well, they kind of sort of made the announcement off the air that they were a couple now. And you would think, and this was on a Thursday, and they started kind of joking about it and hinting about it on last Friday. Thanks, Chris. Chris saying, boy, man, I'm so glad I tuned in for this show. You'd give a starving dog a rubber bone, wouldn't you? Proof in point. Wait until he actually looks right into the camera. His eyes glare bright white. But anyway, you would think after they did that the heads of state at ABC would say to themselves, hey, we got a ratings bonanza going on here. Let's let these two on Monday, and let's see what happens. According to TMZ, their ratings spiked 20% on Monday. That's the good news. The bad news is ABC yanked them. They were not on the air this week. Apparently, they're diving deeper into their relationship to make sure they haven't violated any company policies. Sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ that ABC's HR department and their legal department are working together to look into all aspects of coworkers hooking up. It says so right here. We're told some people at the network were upset that President Kim Godwin's comments on Monday morning's editorial call, when she said the couple didn't violate company policies, because the network hadn't taken a closer look. Pull out the employee manual, man. Come on. You know? We should boycott the station. Yeah. I kind of agree. You know? They say that it has nothing to do with it. They're being benched has nothing to do with it. But here's the other thing. Turns out that TJ, according to the London Daily Mail, they published a story on Friday saying that TJ had an affair years ago with one of the producers of the show. And people thought that was the reason that they got yanked. So TMZ talked to several sources connected with ABC who maintained the alleged affair with Singh had nothing to do with that, and that no rules were violated. But still, 20% rise in viewership. One day. You're not thinking, Kim. Kim Godwin, ABC News president, you're not thinking. You could have the greatest thing since Joe and Mika. Put them back on the air Monday. Really? Watch the ratings. I mean, through the roof. I'm betting you. So, yeah. You know, and everybody's like, oh, this is so cute. You know, they're in love and everything like that. That's so cool. So, yeah, you know. I mean, who do you replace them with? Really, who would you replace them with?
And his name is John Cena. He's gonna get in the ring and put boots down.
Because he's not doing anything these days. Might be doing an occasional Toyota commercial, but that, really that's about it, right? People getting, people watching the show on Monday, and their first response is,
What the f***?
put them back on the air. Even if they didn't violate anything, they haven't done anything. It's not like they did it on the air. They made it public. They went to you guys 2 weeks before. You had plenty of time. Come on, Kim. Get it together here. Speaking of getting it together, so we hear a lot of talk about conspiracy theories these days. And I don't like to go into them a lot. But this is going to be one of those that and everybody knows I don't like to talk politics, either on the show or otherwise. Because the political landscape these days is just plain stupid. Make no mistake about it, it's stupid. No matter whose side you're on, it's stupid. But this one I read yesterday. And this again is one of those, to be really honest with you, even I sit back and I say to myself,
What the f***?
Because even though, how can I say this? We have stepped back 50 years. And all we can do is thank social media for this. According to Rolling Stone, there is a new conspiracy theory concerning the Beatles. Now, the Beatles are not without controversy in their own history. We all know about that. One of the big conspiracy theories being that Paul McCartney died in a car crash and he was replaced by a lookalike, William Campbell, yada yada. If you know the story, then I won't even go into it. If you don't know the story, get online, check it out. Check out Paul is Dead. That's all I'm going to say. And you will fall into a rabbit hole, the likes of which you have never known before. Even for social media. Someone actually played the damn record backwards. Yeah, no, not even that. Not even that. Apparently, the Fab Four is now under investigation by QAnon. Now, if you don't know about QAnon, these are the people. Well, let me give you an example. Right now, as you and I speak, there are a group of people who believe in this website, QAnon, that are standing at the grassy knoll in Dallas, Texas. And the reason that they're standing at the grassy knoll at Dallas, Texas is because they read a report on QAnon that one day, very soon, there is going to be a procession come through. There's going to be a procession that comes through where the motorcade was in Dallas, of which John F. Kennedy was killed. And in that procession is going to be John F. Kennedy Jr., who died in 2003. He's going to be arriving in this motorcade along with his father, the late John Fitzgerald Kennedy, 35th President of the United States, who was assassinated in Dallas in November of 1963. And the reason that they're going to be going through this procession is so that they can proclaim that John Kennedy Jr. is coming back to help Donald Trump run for president, and JFK Jr. is going to be his running mate for vice president. And that he's bringing his father along as an advisor. Now, as I said, John Kennedy Jr. died in a plane crash in 2003. That's not the worst of it. If he brought his father would be 106 years old. And let's not also forget about the fact that he's missing a third of his head. This is one of the conspiracy theories that people in QAnon believe in. And even Cyrus is saying, good God, half are dead, the other half, one near death and the other just holding on. This is what we're spending money and time on. Yep. And I'll get to it in a minute. Chris is saying 2 questions. 1, why are you giving a voice to these morons? Because it's so goddamn funny. Pardon my French, but it is. You know? In the words of George Carlin, these are MFers with jobs. And 2, why so much dead air? Because I can't believe that people like this exist. 1 bullet, yep. So anyway, to get back to this, that puts everything in perspective. But to get back to why we're talking about the Beatles. Apparently, QAnon is now saying that the Beatles are, and this is a quote, they're arguing on whether the Beatles were tied up in witchcraft and child sacrifice. Witchcraft and child sacrifice. According to Rolling Stone, I'm just going to read this straight out. One lively conversation on the topic unfolded after anti-woke conspiracy theorist Samira Khan shared her thoughts on a very, very well-known album cover of theirs. And that, of course, is the Beatles' Yesterday and Today album in 1966, which didn't really come out that way. This was the original. Now, I will openly admit, this is the original album cover. This is what was originally released, but Capitol Records got a lot of backlash for this, and only about 60,000 copies went out. And this was immediately pulled off the shelf and was changed to this. This is the album cover that resides in Beatle lore to this day. Okay? But somehow, some way, the Butcher cover, as it was come to be known, it's according to Rolling Stone, as it said, was withdrawn by the band after a dispute with their label. So, in this attempted provocation, Samira Khan saw a shaitan, or a demonic spirit in the Islamic tradition. And among many of the replies speculating on the meaning of the image, one Twitter user referenced the book that alleges that the Beatles were created. I beg your pardon, let me try that again. That the Beatles were created and financed by the UK government. The text is called The Conspirators' Hierarchy, the Committee of 300, and it lays out the long-standing conspiracy theory that a secret group founded by the British aristocracy in 1727 controls all global affairs. So the Beatles are, in Khan's words, a psyop to popularize wokeism. The next day, on Twitter, on the Twitters, the tweet's been deleted, but of course we were able to capture a picture of it because we're cool like that. One follower of this theorist sent this picture in. Now, this is a picture of, this is a distorted picture of the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album. But actually, according to these people, what this is a tribute to Aleister Crowley, who is on the album cover, by the way. You can see him right up top there. And then, I mean, you can see it right there. You know, Crowley's atop the pyramid, and, you know, they've got all these weird little things here, and Aleister Crowley's signature, which doesn't exist on the album. Believe me, I know this. And then there's this picture. This is a picture that was taken in 1964, before one of the Beatles' Christmas shows. But according to anti-woke conspiracy theorist Samira Khan, she claims that this is showing them using a Masonic gesture, or a gesture put forth by the Masons. And one person stated in response, I guess according to that gesture of John and Paul with their hands in their pocket refers to them as Masons. Now, they got guns. Yeah, you know, that'd be my first thing, you know. But Chris is like, it's not, I'm one. So Chris, as a Mason, is saying that is not what this is all about. So we have proof of this. Okay. I also want to say hi to Amu City, who came in at the last second. Got conscripted into a grocery store run. Yeah, I know that feeling. It's okay, Amu City. There's always the replay. But I will tell you this right now. You have missed the greatest show in the history of this program. You should really be ashamed of yourself. So, yeah. So along with the death of Paul is an empty conspiracy theory, said one person on this. Once you realize how much you've been lied to about the Beatles, even if only in small ways, were you to still think Paul is Paul. Come on, people. This has been going on. Pardon me. This has been going on since 1969. People are still messing with the Paul is dead theory. But according to this person, it primes you for accepting that much of your culture has been a psyop and it's false. If Paul McCartney is really dead and they deceived people back in the late 60s, can you imagine what they can do now? Paul's been replaced by one of the lizard people. Of course, we all know that. Another point of interest for the Q crowd, which makes me want to just bust into a Dobie Gray lyric right here, is John Lennon's assassination in 1980, which was just yesterday. The unfortunate anniversary of that was just yesterday. Many Q adherents take it as a given that he was assassinated for turning away from his liberal hippie ideas and towards more conservative politics. No fan would go that crazy and just pull the trigger unless they are mind-controlled, one said. Another replied, the bullets entered his body from the opposite side to where the alleged gunman was standing. It was the doorman who shot him. Excuse me. The guy admitted to it. Okay? So here we are. 53 years later. Is that a variation of The Butler Did It? Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, here we are back in, it's 53 years later. And here we are still talking about conspiracy theories on the Beatles. Brian Epstein was right. The Beatles will live forever. Or did they? Chris has got it right. Just send your thoughts and prayers and get on with life. I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you. Man. And like I said, I don't like to talk. I don't like to talk conspiracy theories on this show. I don't like to talk about politics or anything weird like that. But that just got a hold of me. There's the Paul is dead thing. There's the bigger than Jesus story. Pardon me. It's so crazy. There was one story that I remember that when George Harrison died. And everybody was blaming Paul, that only he knows where he's buried because he took him out to sea. It's like, come on, and there's allegedly this audio cassette of George telling people what really happened with Paul. And, it's all this craziness. A Gainer conspiracy theory Christmas special. Yeah, yeah, kind of. Because we talked earlier about the Deadpool. You missed that. I'm telling you, Amy City, you missed the greatest show in the history of this program. You should really be ashamed of yourself. Why? Because you had to pick up some lima beans at the store. Really? Anyway. If you missed any of it, please go back and watch the replay, which will be available very soon. Don't forget, next week is our last live show of 2022. Make sure that you're here for that. Also, make sure that right after this show that you run quick like a bunny over to our friends at, not friends, everybody I know is over there. Hugs 24/7 Radio, Hugs at WRGG, HUGSATWRGG.com. Cyrus Gray will have the Hugs Top 10 Countdown, the top 10 unsigned independent artists in the world. It's some great music, and you'll want to check that out to be very, very sure. Next week, our last live show of 2022. The week after that, the YouTube premiere of my video for Lay Down Your Arms. Like, subscribe. It's going to be a lot of fun before the holidays, and I know you want to be a part of it. Amy City, real quick, took him out to see, who are they talking about? Natalie Wood? No, only Natalie Wood. If you know what I'm talking about. That's going to do it from here. Thank you so much for joining me. I certainly do appreciate it. As I said, like, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. Let's get up to 200 subscribers, shall we? A blip in the ocean, but hey, what do I know? If you like it, hey, you know what to do. We'll see you next week. We out. Bye!